Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporter Chris Flaherty. BCAT staff is working on a slimmed down staff this week, so we want to give thanks and a shout out to Jen Dodge, Robert Paris, and John Vias for making this week's program possible. Last week it was all about schools closing, and this week it's about business and municipal buildings. First, all municipal buildings in town are closed, but staff remains on hand to answer questions by phone and by email. Visit burlington.org for contact information for all the departments and the numbers, etc., and email addresses. One big announcement on that front is the Burlington Mall closed on Wednesday evening and will remain closed through at least March 29 due to the spreading coronavirus. Simon Properties, the owner of the Burlington and malls across the country, announced that after extensive discussions with federal, state, and local officials, and in recognition of the need to address the spread of COVID-19, the company will close all of its retail properties, including malls, premium outlets, and mills in the United States. Simon CEO David Simon said the measure was taken for the health and safety of the company's shoppers, retailers, and employees. At this time, the Cheesecake Factory and Frank Pepe's Pizza will stay open during the closure and will be offering takeout. The response to the coronavirus, including Governor Charlie Baker's statement on limiting gatherings to 25 people or fewer, has had an impact on the number of people at Burlington businesses. On Wednesday, BNews reporter Chris Flaherty went around town to see what social distancing looked like in a normally vibrant town. He files this report.
On Wednesday, March 18th, Simon Properties moved to shut down the Burlington Mall and its other retail properties until March 29th due to the ongoing spread of COVID-19. Burlington Mall is just one of many popular spots in town that have seen a drastic drop in activity in the past week, including outlets like 3rd Ave and Wayside Commons. Across the country, movie theater chains like AMC in Burlington have shut down for the foreseeable future. Major Hollywood studios are now moving to offer some of their larger releases digitally for audiences to view from the comfort of their home. Gym franchises like Planet Fitness have also shut down their locations amidst the outbreak of the coronavirus. However, they are now live streaming daily free at-home workouts, which you can find on their Facebook page. And many local restaurants have seen a drop in activity as residents are being encouraged to practice social distancing and limit their time out in public.
While some businesses have shut down completely, others have simply limited their hours and limited their services strictly to delivery and takeout. You can find a full list of those restaurants on our website at www.bcattv.org, and be sure to check back often for updates because the situation is constantly changing. But now is the time to support your local businesses. Residential favorites like True North Coffee, Schoolhouse Ice Cream, and the Pizza Works, all right here in this plaza, and even new favorites like the Bagel Bar right up the street and the Yard House over on Middlesex Turnpike, who have only recently just opened before the situation changed. So until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNews Weekly, reminding you to stay healthy and be safe.
Perhaps even more impactful to the Burlington economy and business community than the mall closing is what's happening, or more specifically, what's not happening at Burlington restaurants. Governor Baker's order that all in-house dining be stopped until at least April 6th has hit Burlington's restaurants very hard. One organization that has been working hard to mitigate the impact is the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce. They have created a list of all restaurants that are providing takeout and/or delivery and have been trying to encourage residents to take advantage of those services to help support local businesses. Chamber President Rick Parker joins me. He's quarantined in our satellite head end to discuss that and more about the current situation. Welcome to the program, Rick.
Thanks, Phil. Glad to be here.
Well, I mean, we're in uncharted waters, Rick. We haven't really seen this type of impact since 9/11. What is your overall view from your organization's standpoint as to the impact currently?
Well, Phil, we've really been operating in triage mode, working with those that got the immediate impact. As you mentioned, the restaurants were hit right off the bat. A number of them have opted to close for the short period of time, which puts their employees immediately on layoffs. But we're trying to work hard with those that remain open to continue to help push their clients to them, but also to keep a little bit more of the pressure off of the supermarkets and have an alternate food source. There are a number of local options, and as you said, they're on our website. We encourage everyone to take advantage of those. On some of the larger scale, we are very fortunate in the greater Burlington area that we're fairly well connected technologically, so that as businesses are asking their employees to work from home, we're seeing much of a less impact on those businesses than maybe some other areas of the state.
What's the general mood of your membership as far as the actions that are being taken by the state, local, and the federal government? Is this a gross overreaction, or are we proceeding with an abundance of caution? Where do they fall in that?
I think businesses fall into the same category as all of us do as citizens. We certainly want to be cautious. We want to absolutely adhere to the social distancing. And as we mentioned social distancing, saying people stay 6 feet apart, this is a perfect opportunity to get closer to some of those neighbors that maybe you haven't checked in on in a while. But the business community is reacting the same way that the residential community is, and follow those traces. I think that you'll see, even though there are logos on these buildings, there are people just like you and me that are in them, and they're all reacting the same way. In times of uncertainty, there's an opportunity for us to really pull together, and that's what the Chamber is really about. It's connecting community and businesses.
How about your general health of your membership in terms of, are you aware of anybody that has been exposed? I know Biogen was at the Biogen conference was one of the sources. Have you got exposure in any of your membership, or indeed has anybody contracted the virus? Not
that I know of at this point. I have been on more conference calls and video calls in the last couple of days than I probably have in my entire lifetime. Yesterday, the Government Affairs Committee of the Chamber met with a number of the larger employers in the area, and Leahy was on board there as well. They've got things very well under control at this point. There is a lack of personal protection equipment out there, and specifically some nasal swabs. So we're helping to communicate out not only through the business community, but also anyone out there that might have specific things they're looking for. We're keeping that information up to date on our website. But I'd say, luckily, we've not heard of anyone that's contracted the virus yet.
What is your website, Rick?
It's www.baccma.org.
Speculate for us beyond this in terms of the overall impact of this on the U.S. economy. We know we've already lost trillions of dollars in our 401ks and various pension funds, et cetera. Do you see a V-shaped recovery here? What are the social and economic impacts, particularly being in the house for day after day after day with your families, et cetera? I say that tongue in cheek, of course.
Well, Phil, certainly if I had any idea of what the future markets would be, I'm absolutely in the wrong industry. I think that we will rebound, but I think the culture of business, and certainly the framework in Burlington with retail and restaurants, will adjust. Hopefully this thing will pass sooner than later, and we can get back to business as usual, but it's going to be a period of time. We're trying to make sure that we're sharing information in a very responsible manner. Our website, we tend to just use highlights and pass them on to the agencies that really have that information. So I would ask that anyone that's sharing information through social networks, please be careful about passing information that may or may not be misleading, and try to adhere to the social distancing in the practices that are coming out through the government at this point. And the business community wants to be a part of sharing that information, but doing it in a responsible manner.
Well, speaking of responsible manner, what is your opinion of the national coverage from the networks and the cable news relative to this issue?
Well, Phil, I wish I could tell you that I've had the opportunity to watch any of that.
Too busy?
I've got very limited time to watch the news. And I don't want to make this seem like a shameless plug, but BCAT has been phenomenal in getting the information to the residents from the business community back and forth. This is an opportunity where a community can really come together, For a long period of time, we've talked about the business community and the residential community as separate entities. We're all people. And this is a great community. Burlington represents the best of both worlds. And it's a time for us to really come together as people and do what's best and listen to the authorities and doing what they're asking for so that we can hopefully, we've talked about flattening the curve. That's really important, that we don't overload the healthcare system or the food delivery system. So, stay calm, be vigilant, excuse me, and do what's right. Listen to the authorities and just be respectful of what other people might be thinking.
Well, shameless plugs are my job, Rick. One last question. The congressional delegation, a lot is going on in Washington. What kind of contact, how are they reaching out, the senators, the congressmen and congresswomen, how are they reaching out to the business community in terms of the tax plan that's coming up or the economic recovery plan? I think it's $50 billion at this point. 1, 2, 3, I'm sure there's going to be a number of them. How are they reaching out in terms of keeping you informed?
Again, we're in that triage mode. We had a conference call with Congressman Moulton this week, and it was really what's out there now so we can communicate what's happening immediately. As things are happening a little further out, we are really not at that forefront yet to have an idea where it's going. And again, this may be just the case that I haven't had a chance to be watching CNN and following that. Our impact here in Burlington was immediate. As you said, the restaurant community was impacted immediately. So were the hotels and hospitality industry, retail, and that's where we're putting most of our focus. These other issues that are more macro and heading to the future, we will be addressing those as we have the capability to do so.
Great. Okay, our guest has been Rick Parker, as president of the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us, Rick. We'll be in touch and following up with you as we go along through this crisis.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. For the latest information on COVID-19, we go now to Dr. Wayne Saltzman of the Board of Health for this week's updates.
Hi, everyone. Dr. Wayne Saltzman, geriatrician and elected member of your Board of Health, just offering my weekly information session in support of the efforts of the Board of Health in making sure that this town is as safe and informed and prepared as possible. What's the latest data on COVID-19? As of this morning, 246,000 cases greater than this year thus far across the country. China has reported no new cases. They still have the greatest number of cases, more than 2 times the number than Italy, but Italy, as I'm sure you're now aware, has surpassed China in the number of deaths. In the United States today, we have greater than 14,000 cases in all states. Massachusetts has 328 active cases as of this morning. Thankfully, no deaths. Cases in all counties. We know from last week that the president declared a national emergency. Once again, the emergency part of it just means that he is able to access more funds and is able to make more determinations. Has nothing to do with the seriousness of the virus itself. On March 15th, our governor strengthened his order regarding goals to suppress or mitigate COVID-19, school closures, no more than 25 gatherings. We know that restaurants have closed, gyms have closed as of this morning. The playgrounds in Burlington have closed. Our services in town, some of them are essential. And our town administrator, Paul Segarino, has been seeking advice from the Board of Health on how to keep our town open as safe as possible. And the Board of Health has offered suggestions in order to do so. Some of those suggestions are around being in the office, but undergoing safety precautions. A lot of research going on now with regard to COVID-19. There's actually a safety trial currently in Seattle with 45 healthy volunteers regarding a vaccine. We've heard about potential medications that we already have that might be useful and are still being evaluated by the FDA and other sources. A lot of work in trying to understand what this novel coronavirus is all about. Importantly, if you think you are immune to the coronavirus, or that you won't get it, or you have such a low risk, especially for more of our youth and young adults, please, you shouldn't be thinking that way. Everyone is at risk, perhaps of not getting a serious illness, but the risk of spreading. I just came down Cambridge Street today and I saw workers who essentially were not using the safety precautions of social distancing. Please, everyone, take this very seriously. Do what you can to help suppress or mitigate this process. Safety precautions, hand washing, hand washing, hand washing, or if you have access to the sanitizing cleaners, the Purells, etc., you can use those as well. But hand washing is always the best. Social isolation, protect your cough and sneeze from getting to others. Clean commonly used surfaces. It's all common sense now. We all have the information that we need. As I've mentioned in the past, Susan Luminello, our Board of Health Director, reviews the CDC, the Mass Department of Public Health, the World Health Organization, and she essentially gets all that information and puts it into an understandable and clear form on the burlington.org website under the tab Public Health Alerts. It's updated, if not daily, more than daily. So please, take a look at that. At the end of the day, we are going to get through this. A lot of work being done, but we all have to work together. Let's make sure we're watching out for our older adults. Be safe. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Grocery stores in Burlington are making adjustments to both keep customers and crew members safe, and in some cases to offer special store hours to the more vulnerable populations during the spread of COVID-19. Market Basket has senior shopping hours specifically geared to accommodate the needs of customers 60 and older. Each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 5:30 to 7 a.m., the stores will be open only to serve customers in that age group. According to the store, this is designed to enable those members of the community who are at greater risk with the coronavirus to shop in a less crowded environment, which enables social distancing. Shaw's will also be offering special shopping times for vulnerable people, including seniors and other at-risk members of the community, such as pregnant women and those with compromised immune systems. They have set aside 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays for these groups. In addition to this, Shaw's announced that the hours of operation for all stores will be reduced to 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday through Saturday to help ensure their crews have enough time to unload, prepare, restock, and sanitize the stores. Target announced that they are reducing their store hours by closing at 9 p.m. daily to allow for more time to replenish supplies and clean the stores. They will also be reserving the first hour of each day, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for seniors and people with underlying health concerns. Trader Joe's has also changed its hours to give more time for cleaning for the health and safety of its team. They will open at 9 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. until further notice. Wegmans said in a statement they are remaining open but did not mention any changes to hours of operation. For all the hours of the stores, head to our website at bcattv.org/bnews. People helping people in the Burlington Food Pantry are continuing to serve those in need in the community, as they always do, as well as provide breakfast and lunches to school children who receive free or reduced lunch when school is in session. The Emergency School Lunch and Breakfast program involves one weekly pickup of food for 5 days worth of lunches and breakfast. The food is available for pickup on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at times outlined on our website, bcattv.org/bnews. The food pantry also remains open for normal use, operating with the usual distribution hours also listed on our website. Food pantry coordinators are also changing practices to help ensure safety. Starting on Thursday, they begin implementing a drive-up system where families fill out a weekly packing list for fresh food, which will be accompanied by a generic bag of shelf-stable items. People Helping People encourages any individuals or families who are experiencing financial difficulty during this pandemic to call them for assistance in meeting their need for food. Anyone sick or unable to get out should call them and they will make arrangements at 781-270-6625. This is a particular time of need, so if you'd like to donate food and or basic necessities to help the efforts, some of the greatest needs are spaghetti sauce, cereal, oatmeal, vegetable oil, condiments like mustard, ketchup, mayo, and salad dressing, 100% juice boxes, dish soap, toothpaste, shampoo, ready-to-eat chicken soup, peanut butter, jelly, and 2-pound bags of sugar. Monetary donations can be made online at peoplehelpingpeopleinc.org. If you can spare a few bucks, please send it along. The spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19, has caused changes in all aspects of life, and that includes how families mourn for those who have passed. Kevin Sullivan of Sullivan Funeral Home said the situations keep changing and that protocols pertaining to precautions, restrictions, and sanitization are being updated on a daily and even hourly basis. Sullivan said that for wakes and funerals, they are holding to Governor Baker's order that gatherings be kept to 25 people or fewer, and they have undertaken other changes to protect the public and the families. He also said they are offering families the option of having funerals streamed on Facebook so that other family members, friends, and loved ones can view the ceremony remotely. Other efforts to keep the community safe include deep cleaning of the funeral home and a stop to registration books so that people are not sharing a pen and a book. Sullivan said they will adapt further if the situation requires it. Kevin also said that during this time, though precautions have to be made, the core mission of Sullivan Funeral Home has not changed. He said they care for those who have passed and they care for their families and friends, and that is what they will continue to do. The Burlington Parks and Recreation Department is encouraging residents of all ages to practice social distancing and to that end avoid the town's playgrounds. The department said that if you do find yourself at a park or playground, they ask that you take the following precautions. Follow the CDC's guidance on personal hygiene prior to heading to the parks or playgrounds. Wash hands, carry hand sanitizer, do not use parks or playgrounds if you have symptoms. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing. Observe at all times CDC's minimum recommended social distancing of 6 feet from other people. Practice it and know what it looks like. Keep it as you walk, bike, or hike, or recreate. Play structures and park furniture are not sterile surfaces or suitable locations for social distancing, and in fact, you'll see caution tape around those facilities for the foreseeable future. Use your judgment. If you do not feel comfortable, do not use it. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with Rich Hosford and BNEWS reporter Chris Flaherty. Thank you for joining us. We'll have any news and any other updates on a regular basis on our page as well as our website. Thank you for joining us.